and create a part of the park, a permanent place for the park. I think everybody has the proposal in front of them. Do you have any questions? Concerns?
In my agenda statement, Your Honor, I put down the thought of looking at putting asphalt down for underneath the boards. We'd whitewash it, and it helps to create an even surface for flooding, for ice, and also gives us the opportunity to perhaps look at using it as a year-round addition to the park. What we're looking at doing is working with some local folks and kids especially to help design and fundraise to put a skateboard park inside the hockey rink. It would not only be good for local kids in Rushford, but also I think would be an attraction to the area, part of Creekside. Talked to the school superintendent, didn't have any problem with that thought. I don't have any bids right now, so what we were asking for today was just the authority to go out and get some quotes and pricing and see what that cost is. If we wanted to wait, we could certainly do that in the spring if it gets too late, or we can just hold off and not do it at all. But I really think this is a good opportunity, partner with the chamber, with the school district, and then with two community groups, one being the hockey parents and kids, just folks who like to skate in general, but then also creating a skateboard park, which is something the council had talked about in the strategic planning session in the spring, is something that we feel is needed for the community.
I'm wondering, is this the only site that was considered?
Yes.
And we're talking about the same site that was used last year.
Correct.
What about the playground? It's already blacktop?
The concern was, or the idea was, that we were trying to eliminate putting the boards up, taking it down. So the investment of time. So this was a permanent place that it could just stay up. The playground is utilized during the school year, so we wouldn't want to take away from that. Even during the winter, the kids are out there using it. So that would be my only concern. I don't know if Mr. Ayler offered.
To be honest,
they're there at the playgrounds covered with kids in the morning when I get home from work.
Even in the winter.
Yeah.
So, and it's a big playground, or it's a big rink. I don't know what they exactly.
it's 200 by
90.
90. It's regulation size.
I guess my thought was that it could possibly be used in their FIED program, summer or spring, fall, field hockey, broom ball, a whole host of other opportunities maybe to utilize that.
And last year, to your point, Teresa Brown actually said if we have this rink, even if it is at the football field, they go down to the football field and use that all the time, they would utilize it there as well. So I think the school would utilize it in programs, broom ball, like you said, maybe even try skating, getting people involved that way. So I think it will be used there too.
One of the things that's probably missing would be a warming house. That would be something we could work on in the future. The superintendent seemed to think that we could use one of the shelters that's there right now. I think they use for concessions, block part of that off, to at least get people out of the wind, and they could possibly even sell concessions and raise some money for the school as well, after the boosters. So that's probably the short-term fix, but long-term, we probably would want to look at even just a temporary facility for the winter months, so people can go in and warm up, do that kind of thing.
It could be a draw, I think, also for the city for potential hockey tournaments, small level scale, so it brings people to the community. I think there's potential that way as well, or even adult broom ball tournaments or things like that. So it could be a great investment for the community, I think.
The city purchasing the boards for $1,500, is that just city taking ownership of the project?
Just the boards.
Yeah, but why, what initiated this, I'm just curious.
It was the discussion that I had with the chamber when I was at their executive meeting, it was about 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. They'd been under the, I guess, the assumption or something saying that the city was ultimately going to take over ownership of the boards and wanted some compensation for that, I think, for the work that was done in the past to kind of make the chamber whole again. And it's quite a deal. Those boards, if we purchased them, there would be there'd be a lot more than
Over
that.
$4,500 of material. I estimated the project to be over $6,000 investment last year. $3,800 of that did come from a SHIP grant, statewide health improvement program for the state of Minnesota. And the initial, or the over and above amount that the chamber invested was over $1,800. So we just wanted to get compensated for a portion of that from the city. So that's how we came to that amount.
And they'll paint the boards, or the backside aren't painted right now, so that way they'll take care of it. It's, once again, it's pretty inexpensive for the city to get a good asset that we can use year round, and if we are able to put a skateboard park in there, it's really going to get a lot of use, winter and in summer.
And I expect to see all of you skateboarding.
Yeah.
Is this something that we can participate in without the level of, taking ownership?
The only ownership part that we have would be owning the boards. The chamber's gonna put advertising on it as a way to do some
Couldn't
fundraising.
we let the chamber own those boards and just donate $1,500?
The challenge that we're faced with as the chamber is coming up with liability, and the school is willing to take on that responsibility. So with the city's ownership, not with us. So that's how we're trying to work around this.
Can we not give it then to the community education program and let them run it? I mean, the city has for the last few years spent some effort in getting out of as much of that summer rec program as possible. What we're really looking at here is some sort of ownership of a winter recreation program on school property with city assets.
Yeah, the collaborative effort would definitely have to happen.
And I guess I'm wondering if the city can't collaborate best by throwing some cash at it to make sure that it can continue to function, even if we would contribute to the building and the creation of a skateboard park. You know, I see that as being a logical extension of our responsibility as a city to the citizens and to visitors, as you mentioned, but limiting our exposure a little bit too, and our, ownership, and let a private group, a hockey association or a skateboard association be formed and let people drive it rather than putting it under the constant scrutiny of the city. I just think it would operate smoother.
I guess that's the way that I'd always envision this. We're not going to even be flooding it. I think what the chamber's looking for is someone to take the boards over for if there's a need long term. I know that the hockey parents who built it are intending to paint and maintain those. The question, of course, is long term, 20 years from now, when they have to be replaced. Certainly we can try to, there's no guarantee that there would be, that group would still be around. We would certainly be hopeful that they would be, and that they would help to fundraise and to replace the boards.